Public hearing on UBS loan deferred. Madang villagers petitioning against environmental damage. And Vocal Fusion Season 7 has a winner.
This is National MTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Monday's news. The opening public hearing for the Commission of Inquiry into the UBS loan has been deferred to a later date. COI Chairman Sir Salamo India made this announcement in a media briefing this morning. He said this is due to some administrative arrangements yet to be completed by the government.
The public hearing was deferred to a later date due to the government's delay to secure the attendance of an overseas commissioner and council and the appointment of a firm of solicitors to assist the commissioner and council.
The first thing that's been done is the visa approval for overseas commissioner and council have been secured. And the second thing is the tender for the solicitors' engagement was published on the 22nd of October 2019 and closed last Friday, the 1st of November 2019.
COI Chairman Sir Salamo India also highlighted some outstanding work that is yet to be done. This includes an advice from the State Solicitor on the requirement of work permits for the Overseas Commission and Council, among others.
If the delay continues, then this commission will be forced to seek the political indulgence of the Attorney General himself or the Prime Minister to expedite those matters.
According to the chairman, funds approved by the Prime Minister are yet to be released to the Commission, and foreign exchange clearance of payments is still being held up by the Central Bank and Tax Office. The chairman said the Commission is unable to sit anytime soon.
Until these and other outstanding administrative arrangements are completed by the government, agencies and officers concerned, this Commission is unable to sit today and is unlikely to sit anytime soon. I announce that the opening public hearing is deferred to a later date this month, that is November, the specific date and time of which is to be advised.
According to the chairman, it seems like the government is not prioritizing the commission. He called on all government agencies and officers concerned to prioritize the commission's request to enable them to sit before the end of this year.
If these administrative arrangements are still not completed in November, the matter will be publicly mentioned on Monday, the 16th of December at 9:30 a.m. for an announcement to be made on the future conduct of the inquiry in early 2020. This commission repeats its earlier requests for government agencies and officers responsible to prioritize this commission's request for assistance to enable this commission to sit in 2019.
Rayon Lakingu National, MTV News.
Prime Minister James Merapi, Parliament Speaker Job Pomat and Deputy Prime Minister David Stephen have been named as interveners in the Supreme Court application challenging the election of James Merapi as Prime Minister in April. The submissions were made at 1:30 p.m. today by lawyers representing each intervener. The matter went before Supreme Court Justice David Hartshorn.
Each submission was made by different lawyers. Each provided an affidavit stating reasons on why they are interested in this case. For James Merapi, its grounds of appeal includes the Supreme Court application is challenging his election as Prime Minister. Davis Stevens' submissions include his capacity as the Deputy Prime Minister of the current government, his capacity as the principal legal advisor to the National Executive Council, and that he is the Attorney General. For Job Pumas, he submitted that he was the National Parliament Speaker at the time Merapi was elected as Prime Minister, and he was the person who had closed the nominations then. As for the former Prime Minister, Peter O'Neill, his lawyers made no objections to these submissions. The Supreme Court application was initially filed by former opposition leader Patrick Purites, but when Purites joined the Merapi-Stephen government, he made applications to withdraw the case. However, Belden Nama, in his capacity as the leader of the opposition, has taken up the challenge and to continue the matter before the Supreme Court. This afternoon, the Supreme Court granted applications made by James Merapi, Davis Stephen, and Job Pumas in their respective capacities as interveners. The matter returns to court on November the 18th for further directions. Thakla Gunga, National MTV News.
A 2-month ban on the sale and consumption of fish imposed by the Madang provincial government has affected coastal villages along the Rai Coast area of the province. The ban was imposed following reports of fish dying in Madang waters straight after a mine waste spillage into the sea at one of Ramoniko's processing plants at their Basamok refinery. Biliao villagers are calling for immediate relief supplies to substitute their daily fish diet, which has cut off.
People of Biliao village in Sidor along the Rai Coast district depend on the sea for food. They have not been able to fish due to the ban and reports of fish dying and contamination fears.
Now mi pla stapol man meriblo sem nambis area ya mi pla stape mi pla staplo mi pla livlo fisa mabus lo mi pla. So now olga ta kai ka mi pla blabi nun bello go morning em no ga fish. Mi pla no gat money loksi mi pla saksi fish sali mi pla gat money. Mi pla sa sem livlo fish. Na same time sa solwara tu bagarap na mi pla no sa wasos lo solwara mi pla pret lo poison.
Nabia Bubia, a primary school teacher in Biliao, says the sea is part of the coastal people's lifestyle. They also fetch clean water from wells dug along the seashore for cooking, washing and drinking. But since getting reports of contamination, they have stopped using the sea for cooking and drinking.
Place me stop long and now me teach long en Biliao village, where normally all kissing water blong all arelo nambis. Na solwara emi kam na since this the talk blow poison emi come up na emi give more people fret long all. With knowing that poison emi go inside law this law water all law kisim long en stop na was long en usim law kai cooking kai na drink na now at all man is still stopping to the big confusion.
The large pots like these used for storing clean water are now empty. The villages are calling on provincial authorities to assist them with food rations to sustain them until such time the ban is lifted.
Time solwara am go down and mi plus aksi wara lo nambis na mi plus a drink. Time solwara am come and tap and bagarap im wara plo mi. Now am bagarap mi plano na plo kisim wara na drink na. Before mi plus a waswas lo si, now am no gap. Solwara tambu na mi platu all get something am tambu.
The ban was to allow concerned relevant authorities like SIPA, MRA and NFA to carry out investigations to see if there were any contamination done to the marine population. It has been 2 months since the ban was enforced, and with 2 inconsistent reports carried out, one by SIPA and another by Swiss scientist Dr. Alex Mozon, the people are still uncertain. Matha Luis, National MTV News, Rai Coast.
The people of Raikos district have united to petition the Madang provincial government, Ramoniko and the national government on environmental damages. They are in the process of drafting a petition outlining the impacts the activities of the Ramoniko mine at Basamuk is putting on their livelihoods. They say the 2-month ban on the sale and consumption of fish is not helping them as they depend on the sea for their daily sustenance.
On Saturday, ward councillors, community leaders, district reps and locals from the 4 LLGs of Raikos met at Biliao village to draft a petition to the government and Ramoniko. This is the 3rd meeting held by community leaders with the people to petition responsible authorities. They say the spillage at Basamuk has led to reports of fish dying, causing anxiety amongst the population not to go out fishing nor eat fish.
Daily mipla sa sim kaikai lo solwara mipla short now mipla sa kaikai garden kaikai without protein na and one mia long kaikai we mipla short len and protein.
During the meetings, locals from the 4 LLGs have agreed to contribute 5 kina towards assisting Mindere village, a village close to Basamuk refinery, for legal action against the company. The 48 impact clans of Basamuk also want a 3rd investigation carried out by an independent body to establish the cause of fish dying in Madang waters. This is because of 2 contradictory results done by SIPA and another by the Madang provincial government, who had engaged a Swiss scientist, Dr. Alex Mozong.
Dr. Alex and Tokosen. Ask him now, Emerson. What if something you make him more fish die?
A 4th meeting will be held 2 weeks from now to finalize their petition and allow community leaders from the 4 LLGs to sign. Martha Louise, National MTV News, Raikos.
You're watching National MTV News. We'll be back with more of the day's stories after this break. Welcome back. Porgera landowners are calling on the national government and the police minister to visit the district and help solve the continuous law and order issues. The Porgera Women's Association President Sarah Erasi says women and girls in the community do not feel safe in their own areas anymore. They say a lot of these issues have come about due to the influx of settlers from nearby provinces, as well as those involved in illegal mining.
The increase of law and order issues in Porgera has made the community insecure, especially with the increase of firearms and many tribal fights that are occurring nearly every week. As a result, over the last 2 years, 60 people have died due to law and order problems. Today, representatives of the many different social groups held a media conference to inform the national government and police minister to visit the province and help fix the law and order issues.
Beginning have been set up, police come up with structure blame, stop at the rural stages. Now I'm 36 policemen, stop the district. Now population below district 70,000.
Landowner groups say the influx of settlers into the province, especially to the mine site, has created problems amongst the landowners themselves and the staff of Porgera mine.
3/4 of the workforce are locals, so they live in the valley. And then all the staff lab knows I come out and I come work one time. And with the issue now, it's happening now long. Porgera and most illegal miners only working tanking activity blow where only touch him not only the place where also work him. Now they gradually go into the places where all months of work long.
Women's group president Sarah Erasi says unlike in the past, women and girls are not free to move around anymore.
All pigrini blomibla now are more affected. All hard logo school now. Time all looking illegal miner come in 500, 400. All come on them gun. All come on the bush knife. Look, government side too. Me no looking more workman belong district and stuff. Me appeal long provincial government. Check him all workman belong district.
Landowner and leader of Young Generation Philip Mangalo is calling on the national government to intervene and help cut down law and order issues in the community.
Bushnebi staff, Ghani staff, Ombru staff, over the time threatening na work iko inuna benefits and bagarap.
Godwin Eki, National MTV News.
2 families in Leh whose homes were sold by NHC to a company told MTV News on the weekend that they have suffered a lot while fighting their legal battle in court since 2014. The National Housing Corporation sold the property at a cost of 400,000 kina following a contract of sale offered to the company almost 5 years ago. The families have fought the legal battle over the property, which they have been living in for more than 35 years.
Levi Kurakipa and Amos Tarali are tenants of this NHC-owned property. It was sold to a company in Leh in 2014 without their knowledge, according to the tenants. Since then, Kurakipa and Tarali had been fighting the legal battles until the National Court dismissed the case on the 30th of October this year. 59-year-old Sheriff of Leh's Courthouse, Levi Kurakipa, told MTV News over the weekend that the legal battle has cost them a lot.
Kisem heart attack, 21st July 2018. Nami kisem heart attack, ikam now, so people family only concern or help to me. Even as them is the local house, and only concern lo yeah, only doctor one ikam only help to me. So without me, but by no cut.
In December last year, a man who claimed to be the owner of the property, following a court order, forcefully evicted the 2 tenants and their families. The family managed to get a stay order from the court, allowing them to continue living in their home. The legal battle continued with KC2, the company who bought the property, until last week, Thursday.
According to all lawyers, have already doctors have bid in 30 to 50,000. Lost appeal go to Supreme Court. That's why we are considering that.
During the eviction last year, some family members were injured. Norman and Japheth were 2 victims of last year's case.
Ola taking terrible plus so mi kam lo support me na mi la avoid mol na mi gon chat le me throw me knife kam ol chop man lo mi
na you mi court this area so la rem you withdraw na you mi respect you mi stop them to.
Meanwhile, the family are hoping to appeal to the Supreme Court but couldn't because they don't have money. Julie Badui Owa, National MTV News, Leh.
2 men were murdered over the weekend following an alleged hold-up in Leh. The relatives of the victims said they will not retaliate, however, they will allow police to investigate and bring the suspects to justice. So far, 2 suspects have been caught.
This morning, the Kamkumu market was closed. Police were on the ground to speak with friends and relatives of the 2 men who were killed over the weekend. A relative, Joseph Henry, said this was in retaliation to an incident that happened earlier. At night, they were attacked and stabbed.
All boys gonna retaliate again now. Only go on them group man, 30 plus man. All been gonna go stab him no knife. Lo backside ika mo wedo lo front o seme 2 play die. 2 pla blow 1 bla papa na mama straight.
According to police reports, the 2 were allegedly involved in holding up a couple and stole the man's phone. The man later went with others and attacked the 2 men.
The Simple Block identified the Goroka guys telling them to return the stuff that was stolen, but they didn't listen to the Simple Block. So he went, mobilized his tribesmen. They went looking for the Gorokas and they injured the Gorokas during the assault, and 2 of them died as a result of the injuries, and 1 is admitted.
The relatives of the 2 men said they will not retaliate and are calling on the police to investigate and apprehend all those involved. So far, police have apprehended 2 suspects involved in the killing.
Mipla still got belevi yet because tupla money walking. Tupla money by calling name dogata 30 plan 30 plogata all go stop inside the police now. Belbom blow Goroka go down and Mipla stop is in normal. By Mipla go normal court process blow solving this problem one time.
Lucy Kopana, National MTV News, Leh.
The University of Goroka Council and Management says to take back PNG, everyone must invest in early childhood learning. UOG Chancellor Professor Joseph Sukwianom says as the leading national education institution, they will look at the provisions of early childhood education and be innovative in their programs. He said this at the 4th graduation of its regional campus in Mount Hagen recently.
UOG has expanded to train teachers in early childhood in diploma and degree programs. Professor Joseph Sukwenom says this is by going back to the roots with the education of young minds so kindergarten students can learn phonics and, most importantly, PNG's history. He said their brains must be well developed at an early age to be smart when they grow up.
My job is to help to raise awareness among the leadership in this country that we must go back to the roots. We must go back to the education of our young minds.
The university is expanding its program as a community-based outreach facility. They partnered with West New Britain provincial government and rolled out early childhood diploma and degree programs. They will soon roll out their degree programs for primary teaching at Madang Teachers College. Starting next year, Enga Teachers College will be offering UOG's Bachelor of Science program for secondary teaching.
We must take back this country. And the University of Goroka is doing what it can to be able to sustain the hope, the sanity, and the confidence.
The University Council is aiming to be the front runner in building human capital development in support to take back PNG. Vice Chancellor Professor Musave Sinabare says the university is committing resources to develop postgraduate programs for teachers so that they can produce enough content in class.
Increase the content knowledge so you will be better prepared to take up the challenges of becoming a competent content deliverer of education.
Meanwhile, the council graduated 18 teachers at the regional Mount Hagen Open Campus recently. The council also made announcements that school fees for next year will remain as it was this year to allow students to receive the education they wished for. Vasinata Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
8 provincial police commanders are undergoing a week-long training program on strategic management, operating outside of Port Moresby and holding on to important officers as heads of police commands. Assistant Police Commissioner for Human Resource Division, Sylvester Kalaut, says such trainings are targeted at upskilling police officers.
This is the second training on strategic management for police officers in senior positions. While most are career officers and have been in the force for over 20 years, such workshops are seen as a refresher course. Those undergoing the training include PPCs from East and West New Britain, Manus, New Island, East Sepik, including South Fly.
This is basically to help them as to how to come up with their own strategic plans, and also you look at the budgeting aspects of it. So, you know, the plan, you will have a plan, you must also have a budget and also maybe an implementation schedule. So they will be taught all this to help them so that they can prepare their plans.
Much of what will be discussed throughout the workshop will be on how to plan and achieve goals and objectives given the limited resources and manpower support at the provincial levels. 2 other similar trainings have been conducted already with the aim to improve how police work is administered throughout the constabulary.
Constabulary has a corporate plan, but if you don't understand the plan, you can't implement the plan properly. So it comes in all its aspects. You do a plan and then later you have to assess it or do monitoring and evaluation. And you look at the implementation as well. So these are components that will be taught in this program. And I want all the provincial police commanders to understand these concepts so that, you know, they can do their strategic plans so that they themselves understand what they have done for their respective commands. Because it's also important because we will be assessing them against their contract of service.
The workshop will conclude this Friday, but the RPNGC HR division is looking at conducting one more workshop for the remaining provincial police commanders. Thakla National MTV News.
7 mainline churches, the government, the private sector and civil society held their biennial church partnership program in Goroka, Eastern Highlands recently. During the forum, the Salvation Army Restorative Justice Program was present as a model, not only for ministering to remote communities, but embrace practical peace accords for communities. Discussions to promote harmonious living in communities as a model and precondition to supporting PNG's development agenda. Enhancing partnerships, crafting the way forward was theme of the 2-day forum. The forum was hosted by the Salvation Army and supported by the PNG Australia Partnership Program. The PNG Cancer Foundation continues to reach out to young high school students to create awareness on cervical cancer. They were recently in the East Sepik and Western Highlands provinces where over 2,000 students received the cervical cancer education.
The PNG Cancer Foundation, in partnership with Remington Group, visited secondary schools in East Sepik and Western Highlands provinces recently.
What is cervical cancer?
Over 2,000 students from grades 9 to 12 attended the workshop on cervical cancer and other related cancers.
Basic information is on cancer, but it relates to all other diseases as well. All other diseases, information provides that young people can be aware of and help them to be mindful of what they do and live a good life.
History teacher of Notre Dame Secondary School, Gloria Collins, said it was alarming to learn that about 3 to 4 women die every day because of cervical cancer, which can be prevented. Therefore, the need to be aware of the factors and issues that lead to the cancer is immense.
The threat of cervical cancer in Papua New Guinea and how it is, drastically taking lives of women in our country. And like what the slogan said, cancer is in our family, and as individual, we can be able to reduce it if we are, if we are really taking responsibility of the way we live our lifestyle.
Brandy's Secondary School Deputy Principal Marian Alu said that this program needs to be extended to other schools.
It should also be extended to other schools too as well. Maybe at the primary school level, we have kids there that are most active sexually right now.
And the students who learned so much shared their thoughts. Here is what a few of them had to say.
The thing that I learned in this presentation is the virus HPV and the effect that it causes and how it passes through the human.
It's not good to smoke when we are still young because it can develop cancer, and it's not good to have sex because we are still young. And
people come and go telling us not to do this and that, but it's through self-discipline that we avoid all those things that are happening right now. So
the choices that I made today can affect my future life. So I'll be careful with the choices that I made today and now.
Lilian Sopera Kenea, National MTV News.
MTV's Vocal Fusion wrapped up its Season 7 competition with a Firehouse Grand Final show last night. Ladel Kiapgugu, the youngest of 4 final contestants, took out the grand prize with her powerful vocals. In a media conference with MTV today, Ladel confessed to attending the auditions on a dare. The outcome, bigger than she expected.
After weeks of competition, sleepless nights, tears of joy and looks of disbelief as the numbers dropped each week, only 4 remained standing.
Ladies and gentlemen, performing all...
19-year-old Ladel Kiapgugu, who hails from the New Ireland province, was announced winner of Vocal Fusion Season 7 last night in front of an exuberant crowd.
No one knew I could sing, even my family. And when I went for auditions too, it wasn't planned. It was a game between me and my friends. We're playing Dare. They dared me, like, we dare you to go and audition, like right now. If you go and audition, we'll get you something. I was like, okay, then I'll go.
Being part of the show meant that a lot of hard decisions and sacrifices had to be made. And as individuals, they had their fair share of hardships throughout the competition.
All my performances, I've been dedicating it to my kids. Because it was it was a very big sacrifice that I did. And they were just babies and I left them.
I was planning to go back to school as well, to support my family. For myself, we all know working, and my parents been going a lot of hard work, getting me through all this season, and I'm so blessed to be one of the grand finalists.
Despite that, these 4 are appreciative of the show and its outcomes and described it as a journey of growth.
And just to me, it proves that anyone can do anything if they just believe in themselves. And I'm forever grateful to MTV and the Vocal Fusion and Lavina for everything, especially in believing in all of us.
Papua New Guinea, with our local talent, we could actually put our mark in the international level.
Last night's show ended with full house participation in dance when Ladel led the 3 runners-up to perform an original composition.
This one time, I've been waiting for you.
You're with National MTV News. Up next, we'll take a look at stories making headlines overseas. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, stay indoors. That's the message millions of people in Delhi as air pollution reaches hazardous levels. Visibility is so bad in the Indian capital. Schools have been closed, flights diverted, and a public health emergency has been issued.
Delhi is choking. People here are breathing the city's most toxic air in years, with pollution levels more than 20 times their safe limit. The problem returns here every winter, but many are saying that this is the worst they have experienced. Protesters gathered outside the Prime Minister's house demanding a basic right, clean air. They believe there isn't the political will to find a solution.
You can obviously see how terrible it is, and it's actually scary. You can't see things in front of you.
Patients are coming with more like lung respiratory diseases, like morely affected with asthma.
One major source of the pollution is stubble burning. Farmers in Delhi's neighboring states say they don't have the modern machinery they need to clear their fields without setting them alight. So the smoke from their fires drifts over the city, where it stays for days on end. But the worst sufferers are people who work on the streets, like traffic police, tuk-tuk drivers, and the homeless. India's government says it is doing what it can. It has banned construction activities, is limiting the number of cars on the road, and has asked for schools to remain shut for a few days. But despite the public health emergency, no long-term solution seems to be in sight.
New Zealand Prime Minister has just announced a major breakthrough in trade talks with China. Jacinda Ardern's met China's premier in one of several bilateral talks at the East Asia Summit in Thailand.
with just 36 hours in Bangkok, getting straight down to business and shaking more hands than normal.
We'll be adding on perhaps a few extra bilaterals that we might not otherwise be able to have because, of course, APEC isn't going ahead now this year.
A gala dinner with world leaders fitted in too. And just a short time ago, the Prime Minister announcing this breakthrough.
Yeah, after 3 years of negotiation, excellent to see the China FDA upgrade now concluded. Essentially means that New Zealand has the best access really of anyone in terms of our agreements. By 2024 we'll have the best access for dairy, and now we've got preferential access for 99% of our wood and paper products.
New Zealand also focusing on pushing forward talks on the lumbering regional trade deal known as RCEP.
We're hoping that we can still get to a point where there's a substantive agreement and puts in place trade rules for half the world's population. That's something worth fighting for.
A particular sticking point, dairy.
India has the biggest dairy industry in the world. They have farmers who have 2 cows, very sensitive to any impact on their incomes. And so the Minister's been quite upfront about that. Huge domestic pressure.
Two-way trade with India is valued at around $3 billion, but so far New Zealand's failed to secure a free trade deal there.
So there is an obvious opportunity there for us.
With the cancellation of the APEC summit, no chance for New Zealand to push its case for a trade deal with the US. The PM has no plans to visit President Trump.
Well, actually, you'll recall that I only just met him in September, and we're obviously working towards free trade talks already.
A surprise request from Thailand's Prime Minister about New Zealand agriculture, adding a bit of unexpected humour to the occasion.
Because New Zealand is a leader in this area, as shown by its products which have received renown around the world, such as kiwis, dairy products and sheep placenta cream.
Sheep placenta cream, not on our leader's radar.
Well, I can't say that that's something that's specifically been raised with me before. Perhaps he noticed the youthful look of our delegation.
Look, I wasn't familiar with it, I have to say. No.
Still a lot on the PM's to-do list before she heads home.
And as Jacinda Ardern talks trade, the man filling in for her as acting Prime Minister was taking on political rivals in court. Winston Peters claims 2 senior national MPs tried to undermine him before the last election.
And into battle.
Do you swear by Almighty God that the evidence you give shall be the truth?
This is the acting Prime Minister taking civil action, demanding answers and demanding damages.
Is your full name Winston Raymond Peters? Are you a Member of Parliament and do you reside in Northland?
It is, I am, and I do.
He's taking aim at Nationals Paula Bennett and Anne Tolley. They were in government when details of his overpayments made it out.
This, to me, and I believe all decent-thinking New Zealanders of all political persuasions, is not acceptable.
It all became public just weeks before Election Day. He calls the leak opportunistic, so where does he think it came from?
The nature of the leak, on my analysis, most likely benefited the National Party, who were the sitting government.
Anne Tolley and Paula Bennett were ministers and told of the error under the no surprises policy. They'll be called to court.
It's clear that the use no surprises convention was a sham by the officials who disclosed of my private information to the 2 National Party ministers.
He says they should never have been told, and that's where MSD and its staff come in.
Because he now travels around the country and he gets people saying, oh yeah, but you ripped off social welfare.
The ministry's former chief executive, Brendan Boyle, and State Services Commissioner Peter Hughes are also named in the case.
We've obtained fresh figures which show Crown Law has so far billed for more than $300,000. And if Winston Peters wins his big dollar damages, taxpayers will pay even more.
Over the coming days, there'll be much more heard around who said what and who to, and more on how the error happened in the first place.
Up next on National MTV News, some sporting updates in Chukai Sports. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sport. The PNG LNG Pumas departed today for Brisbane, where they will spend the night before they head over to New Zealand to prepare for their November 9 fixture against the Fiji Bati. The team had a week-long training camp in PNG and have prepared well for the match.
The team arrived at 11 a.m. for their 1 p.m. flight. The PNG LNG Pumas left today for Brisbane en route to Christchurch, New Zealand, where the team will face the Fiji Bati on Saturday for the second round of their Pool B match in the Oceania Cup. Pumas assistant coach Stanley Tappen says the team has gelled together well during the week-long camp.
I was concerned on getting ourselves right for the game, and this week we did a lot of field stuff. We finished off with a bonding session on Saturday. I think the boys went out to Fisherman Islands. That was really good.
The team looked excited as they checked in at the counter. The team will meet up with Luke Page in Brisbane, with David Mead not able to make the trip. Coach Michael Marum is expected to name the starting lineup tomorrow.
We've got a squad of 20, so 3 boys will miss out, and he'll name that side on tomorrow, the starting 17.
Fiji beat Samoa 44 points to 18 over the weekend. Despite Fiji showing some class in their match, the Pumas, as observers, have picked out Fiji's setbacks.
Samoa probably didn't take the opportunities, but that's where we'll capitalise and look at taking those opportunities when they present themselves.
Fiji made 15 offloads and 10 line breaks in their 44-18 win, but also made 27 missed tackles. Pumas captain Rhys Martin says the Pumas must work on stopping the Fijians' offloads and shutting down the second phase play.
They played really well. They had a lot of offload second phase play, and their kicking game was really good. So, we just got to lock the ball up defensively. I think we have to be good.
Fidelis Sukina National, MTV Sports.
The PNG LNG Pumas are lacking players with NRL game time, but 2 of the team's NRL experienced players, Alex Johnson and Justin Olam, may be the key to a strong performance by the team on Saturday against a strong Fiji outfit.
The PNG LNG Pumas team had a week to train and bond together as a team, but a tough test lies ahead for the team. A date with a hot Fijian side that thumped the Samoans 44 points to 18. But Pumas captain Rhys Martin, who will for the first time lead the team in the 13th format, is confident that team bonding and their match review of the Fijians will ensure a strong performance.
At training, we've been training hard. Got through some tough running sessions early on in the week, and then we finished with a lot of ball work and defensive work. So we're just touching up on a few things during this week and get the body fresh and ready to play on Saturday. But it was a really good week. We got to spend a bit of time together off the field and really enjoyed each other's company as well. So this week has been really good.
The Fiji Bati side is littered with NRL contracted players, with only 3 from outside competitions. PNG obviously lacks the same number of NRL players, but Captain Rhys Martin is optimistic of AJ, Alex Johnston, and J-Box Justin Olam, the only 2 players with NRL experience in 2019. The team and PNG are itching to see those 2 backline players create some magic for their home country.
We know what Justin brings with his ball carrying and his skill with his offloads and his second phase. And AJ, I reckon, will just complement that, always be there and support. And I think there's a number of strike weapons in this team. So I'm looking forward to seeing what some of the boys can produce in that game. But AJ and J-Box are going to be massive.
Assistant coach Stanley Tappen sees the 2 players, Johnston and Olam, as a boost to the Pumas team, with both players carrying most of the optimism of the PNG fans.
The camp's been really good. They've gelled together really well, and I think they're really looking forward to it. I think with Alex Johnson and Justin having a full year with the Storm too brings that sort of firepower in the backline too. So we're really looking forward to going down there and hopefully winning the game.
Fidelis Sukina National, MTV Sports.
We'll have more sporting updates when we come back. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
The Disciplinary Cup competition at McGregor Barracks breaks from competition as it files a team in the Ipatas Cup. Competition founder Port Moresby Northeast Sports Foundation is excited at the opportunity to send in its select side to compete with other elite teams.
The first-time competition concluded selection of its players for the Ipatas Cup.
All the selection criteria and the process have already been done, and we are looking forward to get our trials begin probably next week, anytime during the weekdays. Yeah, we've got a 40-man squad, 40-man selections to take on the trials, and after the selections, engagement list will be 25-man squad. And
while the competition was initiated for the disciplinary barracks in the Moresby Northeast electorate of the city, it's also open to teams living outside. The selection of players for a team in the Ipatas Cup is fair to all clubs.
Preference to all the participating clubs and invitational clubs as well, like 8 Mile and 9 Mile. Those are selections we've gone through both of the invitational clubs too.
The Port Moresby Northeast Sports Foundation says it's not expecting to win the cup, but wants to expose its players to other competitions. Bradley Valenaki, National MTV Sports.
And that ends Chukai Sport. Up next, the weather details for the next 24 hours. Stay tuned.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Fine weather in Port Moresby, partly cloudy in Daru. Showers, although cloudy in some areas in Kerema and Popondita. Cloudy with some showers in Aluta. In the Mamase region, a shower or two in Leh, rain showers in Madang, thundery showers in Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, rain and thunderstorms right across the region in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokoporabao, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, rain showers, then cloudy in Mount Hagen, few showers and cloudy in Goroka and Kundiawa, and showers in Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Monday, the 4th of November 2019. On behalf of the entire MTV News team right around the country, pleasant viewing. Good night.